Ever wondered what makes TV so powerful in Jamaica? Time to find out. Welcome to Global TV Group 358, where television meets innovation. We're not just about shows, we're about shaping society. In Jamaica, TV keeps you informed, connects diverse voices, and supports democracy. Imagine a Jamaica where broadcasters unite, sharing data and collaborating globally. That's us, a unified voice in the TV industry. Did you know TV advertising is still king? It drives website traffic, boosts brand equity, and powers integrated campaigns. Even in an age of digital, TV stands strong, resilient in tough times. Our global TV deck is your treasure trove of insights and data. With charts, graphs, and success stories, it's your guide to impactful TV advertising. Curious to learn more? Visit our website and see how Global TV Group 358 keeps television at the heart of entertainment in Jamaica. Get ready to binge watch the future.
President Mandela was in prison for 20 odd years. And he leave from the prison and take the seat of the president. Stone one, big him and Joe one stone, and it bring about feeling. man throw a stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men.
Good evening, and welcome to Global TV, People's Point of View. Thank you for joining us. Sorry for a late start. You know how it goes at time. We are on our official Global TV Group TikTok page. We're back to our original page because I noticed we got a couple of reports on Global TV Advanced Potential. So we take a break from Advanced Potential for a while, and we are back now to our main page, the Global TV Group on TikTok. Good evening, everyone. Good evening to TikTok. Good evening to YouTube. Welcome, one and all, to my community of party and all my family members, platform moderators, membership holders, viewers, subscribers, commenters, and trolls. Good evening and welcome. Thank you for joining us. Beat and Teach, good evening. Debbie Jarvis TV, good evening and welcome. Thank you all for joining us. Gloria Morris, good evening. Good evening. We'll come here for war this evening. War, Dr. Chang, war. Sandra Ellis, good evening. Sharon Bernard, Canadian gal, Norman Ferguson. Good evening, and welcome. Who else is here? Jamrock 8766, Sunshine. Good evening, Ladybug. Good evening, Gloria Morris, Norman Ferguson, Yvonne Riley, Marcia Thomas, Barbara Simpson, True Love, Ainsworth Williams, Colin, Millicent Jones, good evening. Estina Tyne, good evening and welcome. Let me see who is on the tick. Good evening, Sexy K, good evening. Sean McKennis, Dwight, Norman Roberts, good evening. Marlene, good evening. Winston, Lethoy, good evening and welcome, everyone. Good evening. Mary, good evening. I see an article in the Gleaner where it says the government don't know what they remain doing other than telling lies. And we are talking nothing other than the shipping container of campaign chicken. Because we're not going to walk and tell the lie like the government about container wash the shore government. Container wash the shore government. We're not going to walk. Here's the Gleaner article. No illness yet. Look like them are prepared. Wait for something. But authorities remain on high alert as Hellshire resident bite into salvaged chicken. You see the headline, Gleaner. Gleaner, you see the headline, and they put up some information from the wrapper. But the product was produced on the 23rd of October, 2024. That's the detail on the wrapper. Is there a sell-by date? Never mind that. But it have all of the Brazil apparatus on it. But the Gleaner headline, no illness yet. No illness yet. as if they're waiting to hear, perhaps it were time to enforce or lock down those safe figure out there. Isn't it, Prime Minister? Hmm? Isn't it, Dr. Chang? Because the big security failure in our country, and to date, that's why that's all alone me I talk about Prime Minister until you know here. And you say until you decide Prime Minister to start talk to it, as far as we know, and as far as I, the anchor of Global TV, knows, this is just another container with Dr. Chang's illegal firearm and ammunition that Dr. Chang regularly brings into the country. Until somebody else says something, that's what I'm holding on to. Because, hey diggle diggle, the cat and the fiddle, that's one part of it. The cow jump over the moon is another part. The other part also is where the little dog, not the little dog part, the other part is the dish and the spoon part. There are three follies in that one story. There are three follies, Prime Minister, in that one hey diggle diggle story. Whether you want to talk about the dish and the spoon, the cow and the moon, the cat and the fiddle, whichever one, Prime Minister, this story about the shipping container can really find its root, Prime Minister. Debbie, and how you do? In the cow jump over the moon story. Just like how no come back, come tell we anything about this ship that you may have investigated and find out. Nobody tell us if the cow reach over the moon, if it make it over, and what happened when it get over on the other side. This story is no different. Because here how it would work. Judy, Amanda. Here how it would work. You see now the JBC and RGR days when we did frighten and fool and never did if you read further than the gleaner, the children owns and listen to RGR and JBC. This story is for them. This is not a story where people can read of the different possibilities and the different feasibilities that have been done in the past, and you get some idea of how it works. It's easy for us to research the whole container issue, Prime Minister. If containers normally fell overboard, yes, they do. Quite a good amount for the year would happen. Do they retrieve them when they go overboard? Not necessarily because of costs and all that. Can a container stay afloat after going overboard? Yes, they can. Does it depend on what is in the container? Not necessarily. Whether it be cargo, whether it be light goods, whether it be frozen goods. A container will float temporarily. Sometimes for days, sometimes for weeks, depend on the weight of the product in it, and depend on how long it take to start taking water from the air holes or vent holes or whatever, that will eventually, Prime Minister, sink the container after a time. We get that out of the way, don't? Then, with the story we're going to tell we need a yardstick or a measuring stick from the government, one, or a time stick. One, to tell us when this shipment leave the country where it started voyage from, when the container go overboard, how long the container was overboard. They start them reporting me already. How long it was overboard before the container make its way into Jamaica waters? Was the container dislodged from the boat, from the ship in Jamaica waters? Because, Prime Minister, a container doesn't just turn up on a shoreline overnight. That would be something that border security or local fishermen would have spotted before it got to where you all told us that the sea and the current would have carried it. Probably you all don't think that we would see the fallacy in that story. We would probably just believe it because we just see wash up a beachfront sun. Not quite so though, isn't it? Because even if it was a piece of log, unless the weather terrible hard, it wouldn't carry so much of it got anchor on shore. It would have still in at the shoreline a wave and bob. That takes us to the security implications, Prime Minister, of this container. Because the container, the position that we saw the container in, it was very disrespectful to the citizens of Jamaica that Prime Minister hadn't said anything to the Jamaican people. Very much true, Opal. Very much a disrespect. This carries two major national concerns. The first one is an issue of security, which the government is asking us to believe. Oh, it's just the norm. A container has just fallen off a ship, managed, we don't know for how long, to make its way to our shoreline. The government see no problem with that. The government don't think they deserve to speak to the nation on the nation's security, speak to the nation and tell the nation we were quite much caught off guard. But we are investigating. We will leave no stones unturned to find out what has happened, how it got here, and how it has missed us in that unique direction of the Hellshire channel. So you can almost call it the Hellshire channels, because you have to go through the rickety-tickety of the reefs and stones in Hellshire before you get anywhere. It's like the government is treating this like this is just a normal day. This is just a normal day. This is something that happens in our country and in any country. It's nothing to have a major concern because the Ministry of Defense, the Ministry of National Security, who are under duty to protect us, have not spoken on the issue. In any normal democratically run society, an issue like this would demand all the apparatus of the state involved to speak to us, tell us what they know, tell us what steps they're taking to investigate, and when they will come back to us to tell us what they have found out. These are the normal scenario when incidents like these happen. Why would the government have no concern of health or security in such an issue? This could only be that the government is confident in what happened, that there is no security risk. It is just campaign chicken. It is just campaign chicken. But is it the first these type of mysterious behavior takes place on our shoreline? Certainly not. Plane drop out of sky. If plane drop out of sky, Prime Minister, container can drop out of sky too. And we know, Prime Minister, it's only a hurricane category 4 or 5 weather would have anchored, even if the container drift its way to the shoreline of Helsha. To get the container halfway and land, or 30 to 50% of the container on shore, Prime Minister, would have to take some category 4 or 5 hurricane to really move it that close and land. But they're still asking us and expecting us to believe that story. Why the government has no interest? The government has no interest because the government knows how everything was done. The government is who that carried out such heists. Because if it's not them, they have failed on a lot of fronts in this issue. Failed. The Minister of Security, of National Security, Dr. Horace Chang, have not spoken. He's in the country. And Holness, we don't know where he is at the moment. Dr. Chang is in the country. When last have you heard of Dr. Chang going abroad? When last have you heard of Dr. Chang, the Deputy Prime Minister, unconstitutionally, the Minister of National Security? When did the last time you hear Dr. Chang go foreign? Dr. Chang don't see a problem with this. Of course, why would Dr. Chang, Kishore, how you do, see a problem with this? Dr. Chang regularly takes containers of illegal contraband into the country. So this is nothing new or strange. But I want Dr. Chang to challenge my propaganda. Me I tell you say propaganda, Dr. Chang, before Uno tell me so. I want Dr. Chang to challenge my propaganda and tell me, Dr. Chang, that the Jamaica Defense Force or a private helicopter is not involved, Dr. Chang, in the heist of dropping that container on the beach in Helsha. I challenge you, Dr. Chang, with investigation and evidence to prove me wrong. I challenge you, Dr. Chang, with your investigation and your evidence, prove me wrong that the Jamaica Defense Force is not involved in the travel of the container that ended up on the beach of Helsha. You know what, Governor? Doctors, Dr. Chang and Dr. Holness, you know what going away? The frozen chicken. Are that going away? Are that given away? The frozen chicken. The fact that we expect and want us to believe that the container drop off out of Wowo yonder. The container drift its way come to Jamaica. And everything was all right. It never taking no water. But the chicken them still well frozen and in a good state. How long do Dr. Chang? Dr. Chang, how long was the container on drift for, Doctor? The frozen chicken was on the biggest giveaway. The copter, Dr. Chang. The copter will lift up the container from upper wharf, just round the corner, Dr. Chang, for come drop round a Helsha. If it wasn't done by the JDF, Dr. Chang, the JDF give a wink and a nod. Don't you think they would have? Don't you think the JDF would have given a wink and a nod, Prime Minister? Because as I said, remember, we're a superpower country and all sort and this and that and leader of the Caribbean. Me now go call the Chinese name in this Renice Nicholson. If the Jamaica government want to come out, come blame it upon the Chinese, full stop. The Jamaica Defense Force. The Jamaica Defense, the same thing when they take and drop Avelmore car over the Perchy Hill precipice. It's the same mechanism by how the container was dropped on the beach of Hellshot. You know, come there by truck. You know, come there by boat. Dr. Chang, you and I know. It was dropped from the air, Dr. Chang. It was picked up from our wharf, just round the corner from Helsha Beach. Prove us wrong, Dr. Chang. Prove us wrong that the container wasn't picked up by a helicopter on the wharf and dropped off on Helsha Beach. Prove us wrong, Dr. Chang. Because the government sees no problem with this. It is not a concern to our security. It's not a concern to the weapons operation within our region. It is not really a concern for the government because they have not said it is a concern for them. They have not even addressed the Jamaican public. Barb, the minister. Where was I removed from? Hold on. Why was it removed from the wharf? Because a wharf, the container them come, Debbie, not Debbie, Debonair or so. Which part you know ship car container come barring pan wharf? Upon wharf it come. A wharf the JDF helicopter pick up the container from. Container no float from Wowo yonder come back ashore. Container sink before it's make its way to shore. That story, which they're asking us to believe, we can safely say that story is a lie. There isn't a possibility in that story. The only way it would have to drop off right in a Jamaica water where it can possibly make its way to shoreline before it sink. And even if making its way to the shoreline, not conduct itself past sand. I was asking to find out what is real is happening. Not to conduct past sand like we see this container. The fact that they're asking us to believe that story tells us that they're lying. The fact that Dr. Chang, as the Minister of National Security, have no concern of the security breach of our border, that's a concern. The fact that the Prime Minister, as the Minister of Defense, has no concern that the JDF have a station just up there from Helsha, their Coast Guard base, their Marine base, and they have spotted nothing, then it would imply then that the security that you're all are fooling us about is a lie. It's not true. You are not protecting us, and you cannot protect us. You cannot protect our borders. If a container can make its way from wherever it's coming from, drift its way into our local waters, not spotted by local fishermen, not spotted by our marine police or our Jamaica Defense Force, until it gets to the beach of Helsha, where the people open it themselves and dismantle it and share wedded in there, then that's a major security failure of the Marine Police and the Jamaica Defense Force. Massive, massive failure. The government still doesn't recognize that that has happened. A massive security blunder has happened. They still have not recognized. From what we saw on the video, the grabbing and distribution of the frozen chicken. Because if the container they adrift for however long was dispatched, the ship they said from January, the chicken couldn't have been frozen. Even if they're blast freeze and the container is airtight lock, which they normally do, but it wouldn't stop it from taking water once it go overboard. The frozen chicken, Dr. Chang, go nowhere. But Dr. Chang, make we talk reality. You know why you don't bother? The JLP henchman, me not speculate until them want me to talk what me want to talk, say. Them come out and talk to us. Otherwise, me we just come out and come act mad and talk what mad people talk, say. Because when they present us that scenario and not even tell us that they're doing an investigation to get to the bottom of whatever happened, to get to the bottom of any security breach, to protect any health implications, they're only allowing me to make it up as I go along. And how we, just like how them give way a scenario that we know it is not possible in the way they tell us, then it is for us, the people, to explain it to the people in the possible ways that these things happen. And the possible way that this thing happened, why the government is so silent, is because the Jamaica Defense Force is involved. It is helicopter that you normally use to pick up things and drop from one remote area to the other. Chopper helicopter make for carry one whole heap of galangin in its gut, or it meant to pick up heavyweight and transport it. But for all we know, and we can say this, with assurance that the container did not drift and washed up on the beach of Helsha. That's not true. That is impossible. Not to a passport master, you have GPS, because coming through the Helsha channel, where the whole heap of rickety tickety stone and reef and them something there, the container would have to have a GPS for no fasten past stone out there. So we're not going to run with a story, Dr. Chang, that a container drifted and washed up on the beach of Jamaica. Me not run with that story. Me I make it for myself. Just like I want to make lion story go, no? Get we? Me I make the truth for myself. The container, Dr. Chang, was dropped from the sky. What we want to know from you, Dr. Chang, whether the Jamaica Defense Force assisted like they assisted in Orwell's Moor dropping over the Perchy precipice, or they have turned a blind eye into the operations that took place in the early morning of, what was it, Friday or Saturday or Friday in Helsha. That's what we want to know. What role, Dr. Chang, did the Jamaica Defense Force and Jamaica Defense Force helicopter, Dr. Chang, play in dropping the container off on the beach at Helsha? I mean, I want to hear nobody talk about drifting container, no gossip. Me not walk and talk is so. Me not helping to spread that lying narrative. If them have their own narrative, I will also have my own narrative. If they have their own narrative, I will have my own narrative, because I will not be led astray by a lying, wicked, thieving government that never seek to tell us the truth. What was the reason for the container, Dr. Chang, is another big question. And then I'm going to make that up as well, Dr. Chang, as I go along. Isn't it, Doctor? Purpose of the container, Dr. Chang. Presented with chicken, isn't it? But because the chicken were frozen, they weren't spoiled, then we know the chicken is a decoy. The chicken is a shut your mouth thingy. The chicken is a quid pro quo, Dr. Chang, isn't it? As I call it, Dr. Chang, the campaign chicken. Top up the screen, please, TikTok. Top up the screen. As I call it, the campaign chicken. Ladybug, how you do? The campaign chicken, Dr. Chang. But is the campaign chicken a decoy, Doctor? Because there's three things that we know that government does in a mass way. The illegal importation of firearms, which we know Dr. Chang does an awful lot. The illegal importation of drugs. Money laundering also is another major crime of the government. We are in an election year, Prime Minister. Could it be one of the three that was a part of that container? Illegal importation of weapons, beat and teach. Well, go on, Wendy Penn, how you do? The illegal importation of weapon wouldn't be far off when it comes to the dealings of Dr. Horace Chang, the Minister of National Security. Young DT World, well, go on. It wouldn't be really off, as Oda Campbell, how you do? When it comes to an illegal weapons importer like Dr. Chang, it really wouldn't be too far off to speculate on whether the chicken was a decoy and what was the chicken was hiding behind the chicken. Was it illegal arms smuggling, as Dr. Chang regularly does? Was it drug smuggling, as governments around the world regularly does? Was it money laundering exercise that government around the world regularly does? This is an election year. During an election year, money is thrown and spluttered about in order to buy power, which this Prime Minister and his cronies love to do. Is the government silent because it doesn't care? Or is the government silent because the government knows exactly what went down? I would hinge with the latter. The government is fully involved in the operations at Helsha. Why were the people of Helsha so confident that the meat are safe? They were given assurance. Lisa. They, Barbara, were given assurance by their political leaders of the Jamaica Labour Party and the government. This is a payoff. This is a payoff to stay in line with the Jamaica Labour Party and elect a certain member of the Jamaica Labour Party. So the people are not really worried about health concern because JLP henchmen within the Helsha region were given assurance, thereby that assurance of safety was given to the people of Helsha by the government through their JLP henchmen. That is why them don't have no concern. Because it's all a part of the vote buying exercise. They are desperate to hold on to Portmore. They are desperate to hold on to Portmore. And it's coercing the people of Portmore. What we don't know, though, if Portmore is being armed by the government in order to aid the government political showdown that we see this government advancing. Is the government preparing for an endemic in the country? The fact that nobody's saying anything is all the more we should be concerned, because our country can be invaded if that's the case. Now, the purpose of having a military is to protect your borders. The purpose of having a military is to protect the borders of your country. Hold on, there's somebody just sent a video call. Give me just one sec.
The JLP office. The JLP office. Every member of parliament.
Hold on there.
Every member of parliament is here at the JLP office. Every member of parliament, every permanent secretary. See there? The Prime Minister. See there? The Prime Minister is here and reporting it to you. Every member of parliament in Jamaica is here at the JLP office.
Hold on there.
Every businessman, every permanent secretary.
Let me try put this in this studio and see if we watch it together. I really don't know. It just come to me by a globalist just now. Let me see if I can quickly put it in studio. And we'll watch and see what this gentleman is trying to tell us by the Prime Minister and all and crony them gather up. We don't know what them are gather up about. But as we say, election is in the air. Oh, you saw it today too. I'm going to post it on TikTok in a bit, but let me pull this up and we watch and see before we go forward. But we're going to talk about container tonight, Prime Minister. Prime Minister, you see, in a journalism, anything you see the government mouth shut on, you must have a major concern. When the government is silent, it should raise the alarm bells. When the government is silent, yes, out of Belmont Road. When the government, Prime Minister, is silent, it should raise all the alarm bells. Let's listen to this video, then we continue with the container. Because you notice the major broadcasters are not treating this with concern either. The Observer not writing about it. The Gleaner is the third article now we've seen at the Gleaner about it. The first was the Floyd Green one, then the Dr. Dawes warning that they put out, and the one where them put out today say no illness no surface yet. They're all in silence. But their silence, though, is not making it go away. It pulling more questions because we, the people of Jamaica, recognize the security and the health concerns coming from this.
Well, you can see, yes, as you can see. Well, let me just say this to you. The JLP office, every member of parliament is here at the JLP office. Every member of parliament, every permanent secretary, see there, the Prime Minister, see there, the Prime Minister is here and reporting it to you. Every member of parliament in Jamaica is here at the JLP office. Every businessman, every permanent secretary, every chairman is here, and they are discussing the calling of election. PNP, I'm putting you on notice. I just went undercover at the JLP office, and every single member of parliament, Prime Minister, every single person are here, and they are discussing the election. Yes? So I'm saying to you, get your house in order and be ready, because I am not sure if Bogard has any message from any place in the world, but he is going to call the election. Based on what I'm seeing, the entire Belmont Road is blocked with every SUVs in the world, and every permanent businessman are here in order to discuss the way forward. And so, caretakers, everybody, so I'm putting it out to you.
July, the dopey them say July the 8th. I don't know when I'm going to do July the 8th, but so the dopey them say, we don't know, but the container is thrown up in front of us. No, the chicken is thrown in the container to hide something else from us. And we want to know, Dr. Chang, what weaponry, what drugs, what illegal money, Kate M, that may have made its way into the country, into that container. But Dr. Chang, we will not, Andrew Holness, we will not, Christopher Tufton, we will not hear on Global TV under any circumstances promote your propaganda of a floating container. I'm not going to let anybody laugh at me, Dr. Chang. You can talk it. For all I know, and all I am putting out there in the public is that the Jamaica Defense Force was involved in the container dropping off on the beach of Helsha. Prove us wrong, doctor. You can do so by doing an investigation and tell us from the investigation what you have found out. What it is that you all don't want us to talk about. Why una use frozen chicken to pull a wool over our eyes? Because the chicken them couldn't stay frozen if the container has been dislodged overboard for weeks or months or for days or weeks. They couldn't have remained frozen. 100% not. So that story, Dr. Chang, we will not go around telling anybody that a floated container ended up in our country. For what we know, Dr. Chang, the Jamaica Defense Force assisted in dropping the container on the beach of Helsha. If I not so, sue we. If I not so, arrest we. But that's how it is for now. Until the doctor or until the government can prove otherwise, the container was dropped off by the Jamaica Defense Force. What was in it? I am not sure. What I'm sure of, though, is that it did not float its way there, doctor. And we will not spread that propaganda of a floating container. A container that was dropped off by the Jamaica Defense Force. A container that the government arranged to be dropped off with chicken to start the government campaign for their new quest for power, because we didn't get it through gerrymandering. So we're going to take it through frozen chicken. Jamaicans, don't be controlled by your belly. This situation, it looked disgraceful on the international scene. It shows how government can starve us into submission or starve us into a way where a bellyful is more of a concern than our health. And it's the way how the container was being approached. We don't care, we're just hungry. And container chicken drop off here what we can sell. where we can cook, where we can boil, steam, jerk, roast, fry. Hmm? It is disgraceful, the image that we saw on the beach of Helsha. It's quite disgraceful. And this is how the government is treating its people. And in silence as well, because the government is acting like nothing has happened. I don't see what you're all talking about, if anything has happened. The government probably sit down and say, oh, we chat now and the whole away PNP and the whole away bad mind. A bad man with bad mind them for them frozen chicken. A bad man with bad mind the container, so the container drop overboard and manage to make its way ashore without the chicken spoil or without the container go sinking. Bad mind with bad mind. Isn't it, Prime Minister? Because when we talk about the truth, Sharon McFaulkner, thank you. When we talk about the truth, a counter with bad mind, I just bad mind with bad mind, Prime Minister. We just hate your government. We just like to make up mischief upon your government. The amount of guns that came in 1980 and the National Security Minister has a part of the autocratic, whatever that word is, that took place. This election might be bloody one based on the trajectory. I'm sorry for my country, because the way they've taken us with corruption, or people get paid very little to carry out the level of corruption that gives the government power, one, and turn around and enrich those very people who we gave power to through manipulation or petty cash. They get power through manipulation or petty cash. Sometimes even coercion, as we see happening as we saw happen in the local government election, and as we see they're moving towards threats, intimidation, and all of that in order to maintain power in our country. It was supposed to leave Kingston to Cayman, but they may have disposed of it. Other removal. Hold on, authorize TikTok to continue. They, after removing some of the item, the container never leave from Kingston to Cayman. The container come to Jamaica. The container come to Jamaica for the purpose of what the government took into the country. If the government not have anything to hide, the government would have communicated with us. Not a press conference, not a statement. Because Floyd Green's statement not really make it. It don't really make it because Floyd Green never come out and come talk to the people and explain to the people the implications or anything of such. The health minister is yet to recognize the issue. Not even a recognition, you know. Nobody from the Ministry of Health, any of the different arm of the Ministry of Health, the veterinary service, the public health service, none of the arm of the Ministry of Health to date recognizes the issue. The Prime Minister still have not heard of what has happened, even though a member of the Prime Minister cabinet spoke on the issue. Only Floyd Green released a flimsy little statement over the weekend, which is inadequate given the gravity of the situation. Top up the screen, please, TikTok. Top up the screen. Given the gravity of the situation, is a wholly inadequate utterance from the minister. Nevertheless, the minister spoke. The Minister of Agriculture spoke. The greater concern, though, for us as a people are the security and health implication that arises from the container that was dropped off in Helsha. And the reason why we have that concern is because we're not being told anything by the government, which is under duty to protect our borders, and have left our borders open to the fact where a container could have made its way to the shores of Helsha evading all security apparatus. Imagine then what speedboat and engine boat could have taken into that region on a regular basis, load or unload, whether it be drugs, guns, or illegal cash. Which was it, doctor? Where on a drop off before on a drop off the container, because on never. But then again, them could unload the gun them round a Hellshire, you know. Dr. Chang. Jesus, we need a food truck expert. Dr. Chang, how much guns, doctor, was unloaded from the container on the beach of Helsha? We knew, doctor, you unloaded 200 AK-47s in Flanker in 2021. My question, Dr. Chang, how much guns, Dr. Chang, was unloaded from that container over the weekend before the residents of Helsha got there and start collecting their campaign chicken, their close your mouth chicken, doctor? How many guns, Dr. Chang? How many guns came into that container? And to what community, Dr. Chang, were those guns distributed? Because we now go have the chicken conversation within our fucking ear, you know, doctor. We're asking Dr. Chang, how many guns did you, Minister of National Security, took into the country, into this container? It is not the first, Dr. Chang. It isn't or wouldn't be or wouldn't be rather unheard of, Dr. Chang, for you to bring containers of illegal weapon into the country. Isn't it, doctor? Isn't it the norm for you? How many guns, doctor, or how many kilograms of crack cocaine, Dr. Chang, that you all collected from the container on the beach of Helsha? We would want to know. If a poor people picking it, we don't want to know too. So we want to know, Dr. Chang, how much illegal guns or how much kilograms of crack cocaine, Dr. Chang, that you collected from the container in Helsha over the weekend? Or is it, Dr. Chang, that the drugs and guns were taken out the container from the wharf and then the container was dropped off? Who unlocked the container, Dr. Chang? Can the residents of Helsha tells us if the container was open or by what mechanism they broke way into the container? Them something don't know if you tell with Dr. Chang. If we say una security and una this and that, investigate and put our mind at rest. Make we know so we country safe. Make we know so when we go to our bed at night, Dr. Chang, we now go wake up with we surrounded next morning with gun pointing our face and people tell us what to do. Because if the container can make its way, Dr. Chang, it wouldn't be hard for speedboats to roll upon us and invade with overnight. Because our JDF members are sleeping, or our JDF members haven't got the proper apparatus to do their job. It have to be one of the things. But what you can be assured of, Dr. Chang, and what we know to be true, Dr. Chang, the chicken is a decoy. The chicken story, Dr. Chang, is a decoy. The frozen chicken, Dr. Chang, was a major giveaway in the story of the floating container, Dr. Chang. Faye Thomas, how you do? Not Thomas Thompson, rather, sorry. The frozen chicken, Dr. Chang, was the biggest giveaway. Tap up the screen, please. Tap up the screen and give us a follow on TikTok if you are new to Global TV. This is our main TikTok page, Global TV Group 358. So make sure you subscribe. So, you know, we have many TikTok channels, but this is the main page. We're going to try stay on the main page until them push way off again. We'll go back on our other TikTok page. But we must not drop this story. Opal Styles Spotlight, how you do? We must not drop this story. We know they're not going to speak about it. Because if they speak about the story, they have to tell us about their crime. Tovia, how are you? They will have to tell us about their crime if they're to speak to us about this story, Debbie Jervis TV. They will have to tell us about their crime if they have to do a thorough investigation and tell us the truth of the container. What we can categorically state, the story that they gave us, that the container fell off a ship and washed up on the beach of Helsha. That story is no different to the story of the cow jumping over the moon. And because when we were children, we were confused by the cow jumping over the moon story, we, however, turn out to learn. Say, no, go so. And this is one of the cow jumping over the moon story. Thereby, we don't have to wait till we grow up to say, no, go so. What is the story behind the frozen chicken, doctor? How many guns, Dr. Chang? And what guns they were? Like we knew the ones you unload in flankers was 200 AK-47s, Doctor. How much guns, Dr. Chang? How many kilograms of crack cocaine, Dr. Chang? Or for that matter, how many stacks of cash and how much in millions or billions were coming in the container? Blame the poor chicken. Blame the dead chicken. We can't talk up for themselves. Well, we're standing for the chicken, Doctor. Dr. Chang, we are standing in for the defense of the chicken. Because we know a lion story, a pred pan the chicken. No, but henceforth it's true. We know a lion story, a pred pan the chicken. So we have to go stand up to protect the chicken. The silence of the government, does it not bother you, my people? Is the silence of the government not worrying to you? The silence of what is called a caring government that does not have a care in the world whether your people pick up food upon road and eat it. Government. If I even that, Andrew Holness, just like how the whole of we see it, and it turn with spirit and with stomach, Prime Minister, haven't you had one? Prime Minister, your stomach not turn. Because us out here, what we saw was a spirit and a stomach turning. You know why it turns spirit and stomach, Prime Minister? Is the way how we saw the people going on, not about gold that they found on the beach, Prime Minister. Not about drugs that they find on the beach, which does sometimes happen in our country. But frozen meat, Prime Minister. Not dead fish that does washed up ashore sometime, Prime Minister. A container of frozen chicken. Not knowing what risk, who put it there, how it got there, why it was placed there. But because of poverty, Prime Minister, all of those thoughts, Prime Minister, went out the window. And the immediate thought was to solve poverty. You use food, Prime Minister, to play on the people. It left another open consideration, Prime Minister. Could this wicked government be planning a health debacle that they have directly introduced themselves? That is the concern that worries all of us. The health implication that is attached to this, something that the government refused to speak to us about, something that the government has no concern that we must move in and try to avert any major health implication that could come out of this. We care about our people so much that we do not want them to consume what may become a risk to them. The police under Dr. Chang's control haven't come to us and tell us, have they done a house-to-house sweep in Helsha to make sure contain those chicken so then they'll go across the nation? Should there be any health implication arising from this, we don't have a nationwide breakout. And if you talk, you hear say you're bad mind. If you open your mouth, you hear say because you're bad mind. You bad mind the government for this. You bad mind the government for that. If the government has no part to play in the helicopter dropping off the container in Helsha, the government then ought to investigate and get to the bottom of the security breach. Otherwise, we have no other way to look than saying this was a government operation carried out by the Defense Ministry and the Ministry of National Security. Until they can tell us otherwise, from my perspective, the container got there by the security services assistant and operation. The story we were given that the container fell off a ship and floated its way there. It is a lie. It is a lie, and it is a lie, and it's not true. It's not true. We're not going to help you to spread that level of propaganda that we know to be untrue. We know it to be untrue. That's why we now go walk and talk it. My people of Helsha, don't give away your democratic right for a few frozen chicken. My people of Helsha and St. Catherine and Portmore, do not swap your democratic rights for a few frozen chicken. The chicken is a part of the election campaign. The broader question for the government: how much guns, Prime Minister Horace Chang, was unloaded from the container on Saturday morning? How much kilograms of crack cocaine was unloaded? How much stacks of money was unloaded, Dr. Chang? But for all we know that the container didn't drift its way there. And we can almost be certain that the container didn't just come with chicken, Dr. Chang. And while you are the Minister of National Security in our country, it falls to you, Dr. Chang, to explain the security breach. Likewise, it falls to the Prime Minister to tell us the JDF involvement that assisted in getting the container to the shores of Helsha. If the JDF didn't play a role, Prime Minister, why is it that the JDF failed to spotted the operation of a private helicopter? Lovan Burnett, welcome to this Yawania. This is our main TikTok page where them always push we off, but we're back on our main TikTok page until them push we somewhere again. So make sure whichever TikTok page on a semipan on a follow, because when them start the rickety-tickety and the bangarang and the reporting, we have to just catch up wherever we can on TikTok. But we're not going to make the government or government surrogate deter us from speaking up for our country, for our people, and for justice in our country. What are the risks, Prime Minister? Will we see a flare-up of violence? Is the guns to do with the impending violence for the upcoming general election, Prime Minister? Or is it money to run the election? Or is it drugs to deliver to your area dons in order to hold off the people in whatever constituency or division it may be, Prime Minister, in order to secure you a third term where I go broke your neck over? We want to know how much a gun come off of the boat, sir. We want to know how much it jugs and how much money. We already know what the chicken for. The chicken is vote buying. That's why I call it the campaign chicken. That's the campaign chicken. So we're not concerned about the chicken. I'm not even, Prime Minister, concerned about the health implication. You know why? Because, the government, the JLP government, gave adequate information to the henchmen, the JLP henchmen of Helsha, to make sure the people them know, say, no worry, man, it's all right for no consume and it's all right for no sell. The problem is, in an era like this, when you only have a Dan or a area man know the information, everybody else are going to run with the propaganda so the container wash up because they see it on beach side. They see it a beachfront. So, if you're not critical thinker, you're going to say, oh, I wash up. And government glad if you run with the narrative. Say, oopsie daisy, container wash up boy. And hallelujah, it have meat in it. So it look like the container have some hydroelectric connection, Prime Minister. Because even if a days it float for Prime Minister, the chicken them couldn't remain frozen. Couldn't, Prime Minister. As I keep saying to you, the chicken was the biggest giveaway. The frozen chicken, Prime Minister, was the biggest giveaway in all this. I mean, I stop ask Dr. Chang. Me now go say suppose and supposed to, and if Dr. Chang, how much guns, Dr. Chang, did you collected from the container on the beach in Helsha on Saturday morning? How much sacks of cash or how much kilograms of cocaine, Dr. Chang? But for all we know, Dr. Chang, the chicken is a decoy. And you can't get away in a 2025 to run with a cow jump over the moon story where we know Dr. Chang don't go so. If the container swim, if the container had GPS, we can go to. Me not say no allegedly around here. Anybody feel like them want to sue me, they can sue me. Me not make nobody tie me tongue with allegedly. The Dr. Chang and the whole of them never say the container allegedly shifts. Wait name. Them never say the container allegedly drift to Jamaica. Never anybody talk about no allegedly. So me now go talk with Dr. Chang allegedly take out a hit or we allegedly come in there. Gun come in there, Dr. Chang. Drugs come in there, Dr. Chang. Money come in there, Dr. Chang. And we want you, Dr. Chang, to tell us. We want you to tell us how much guns. Is it more than the 200 that you took out of that container in 2021 in Flankers, Montego Bay? Is it more than what you have loaded up those coaster bus in Flank and distribute across the rest of Jamaica, Dr. Chang? But you don't want we to help on a walk and talk about, oh, chicken floated its way to Jamaica and still remain frozen. Chipper, how are you? Still remain frozen. And then Jamaica people, because the government tell them so, would want to believe, say, it is possible for true. Some people are talk like them believe the government. You would only be as crazy as this government. If this government run with the narrative and you take it up and sup it up, that a container drifted its way to the shore of Helsha, you should want to ask the government, what was the operation that the government was involved in on the beach of Helsha in the early hours of Saturday morning? How much guns did the government collected from the container? Drugs or cash, for that matter. But don't expect us to help you to run the narrative. When the people them arrive, boot was in the sandprint like police boot, and how the container passed the reef. I have been saying this from the other morning, Gamer Boy. Outer Helsha is a rickety-tickety zone. Even fish and lobster, who it's their territory, have to know carefully how to swim round Helsha, finna buck off their nose, pan reef. This container with GPS, this container with engine and all that, managed to take its way carefully to what I call the Helsha Channel. It was a government operation, Kishore. The police, the soldier, the whole of them know about it. It is why they're all so quiet. Because if they were to investigate, they're investigating themselves. And they don't want to tell us about their involvement in the crime that went down on the beach of Helsha last Saturday morning. That's what we want to get to the bottom of, Dr. Chang and Andrew Holness. Because these two morons, you see, these two morons is responsible for the security of our country. The Prime Minister is Minister of Defense, which is responsible for the Jamaica Defense Force. And the Minister of National Security, with responsibility for the nation's security and the nation's border, which have been breached. Or border have been breached by a container. Can you understand how much serious this would be if a loaded ship decides that we're going to invade Jamaica and take over one of them seaport or one of them parish? Even if the container, let's work on the assumption of the cow jump over the moon story. Let's work with the cow jumping over the moon. Even if the cow jumped over the moon, there is still a concern. Because we should have seen a video clip on TikTok of the cow jumping over the moon in modern day. If it's a cow jumping over the moon story, we should have seen a video clip of the cow jumping over the moon. This is not a reading book days. These are the days when we have phone in our hand. Don't tell with those nonsense that a container drifted its way into our country and it passes the Jamaica Defense Force. It passes our Marine Police. It makes its way to our shore, emptied by the people. The government has no concern of security and health implication. The government have no interest in investigating and telling us what happened. What are the breaches, if there are any? How will they remedy the breaches, if there are any? Utter silence. Utter silence. The world is watching though Andrew Holness. McKesson called the July 8th election Prime Minister because Marlene Mallahu fought may want to ignore the convention and go to the deep end of the Constitution. Go on, Marlene, go on. High or low, long or short, Marlene, the Jamaica Labour Party has already lost the election. No amount of holding on to power through buying votes, intimidation, threats, or coercion, it will not stop the people from voting for better. It's what people normally vote for government for better. Have we received this from this government? Maybe Andrew Holness could tell us, rather than get up and tell the people of Jamaica who elected Andrew Holness that they are bad mind. Tell us how many guns, Prime Minister, that came into the container. How much belongs to Horace Chang? How much belongs to Andrew Holness? And what's the purpose and use for those guns that are not carrying in the country in the container? How much ghetto youths are you going to distribute those guns to? And that way for ask, you know. But no, can't get me help on tell lie about you. Me will make up my own truth. If uno decides say, let's go the lie route, me will make up my own truth. So Dr. Chang, Ingrid, how you do? Dr. Chang, if the container float come at Jamaica in a year story, fine. What I want to know, Dr. Chang, how much weapon, how much AK-47s came into that container, Dr. Chang? Because we know that your regular job, you know. Gunslinger, doctor. We know that is your regular job, to bring in illegal weapons into the country. And while the Minister of National Security is so silent, we know that there is a bigger picture behind the frozen chicken. We're going to scratch record the chicken, doctor, because we know say nothing no gossip. We know we deserve to tell us something, and while no say nothing. Like how we don't have for no own stories, say it drop off a ship and jeep come there. We are going to talk for our own story. So no import a container of gun and drugs into the country, and then on distribute it round a Helsha, and then on put chicken in there for this track way for we talk about chicken. How much guns did you take into the country, Dr. Chang? Me don't want to know how much a ton of chicken, where the chicken come from. How much guns, Dr. Chang, did you import into the country in that container? That is my concern, doctor. I don't want to talk about chicken. I want to talk about the AK-47s, Dr. Chang, that you distributed on Helsha Beach Tuesday morning, Saturday morning. It's nothing strange for you. You've done it in Flanker before. I forgot the evidence of that. So I can safely say the operations on the beach of Helsha, Dr. Chang is highly involved in whatever criminality that took place on Helsha Beach on Saturday morning. Sue me, Dr. Chang. Sue me, because I'm not going to stop talking about the guns and drugs on Helsha Beach until we hear otherwise. Me don't want to talk about chicken. Me don't want to speak about chicken, because that's not a true story. Lastinique Reed, welcome to TikTok. It is not a true story. Give us a follow, everyone, if you're new to my TikTok page. It is not a true story. It is not the real story. And we will not help the government to advance that story. We know the government is lying to us. And we are demanding that the government investigate and tell us the truth. Or the government just come clean. Do I expect them to? No, it's an election year. This container has a lot to do with election. Me not expect them to come out here, come blow them bubbles just so. But what we the people must not do, we must not drop this story. Because the two major concerns, if they happen, will affect us. The security breach and the health concern. And that's what we should think about, not anything else. I mean, I want to hear nobody talk about floating container, float where? Float where and float for how long? The container was dropped off by the Jamaica Defense Force helicopter. Simple. If not so, then tell us the truth. But for all we know, the Jamaica Defense Force was involved in the Helsha Beach operation. All right? That's it, Dr. Chang. If you want to sue we, fine. Will we accept the lawsuit? When the judge said we pay, we will tell the judge that we can't pay more than £1 a month, £12 a year, Dr. Chang. That's why I'm afraid to talk when I want to talk on my channel. Because anyone who wants to sue me for £1 a month, go for it, doctor. Anybody can sue anybody, you know. And any court can award damages. How will you get it is another question. There's a dilly-dally game in lawsuit, my people. That's why nobody can ever and will ever use the word lawsuit to shut me up. Nobody can use the word lawsuit to shut me up. Anybody can sue you. Any judge can award damages in a lawsuit. How you will get the money? If me decide to me pay a month, £1 a month, that me can't afford. That's what I can afford. So run come sue me for the £12 a year. Run come sue me for the £12 a year. And if you think, no, I'm going to use defamation or anything else to clamp my mouth, I might as well gear up for collect on £1 a month. Gear up for collect on £1 a month, because just like how on a walk and put out the narrative, just like how on a beg the vlogger run at the radio station for talk the whole fuckery. We entitled to talk fuckery too. So we're going to play no at no game. Fuckery for fuckery. How about that, doctor? Friggery for friggery. Because when you look pan bright we and tell we say container float for weeks in a yonder water till it get to Jamaica. And it just pass to everybody. So local fishermen, JDF Coast Guard, boat, Coast Guard helicopter, Marine police, it passed through everybody. It even make it way quite close to the JDF base in and around the Wharf Helsha area, and none of them see it. But yet still, they want us to run around and promote the story to them, ram it into the people head, say container, Jiff, come at Jamaica. Like seriously? Do you remember that this is the same Jamaica Defense Force that was involved in the murder of Arvel Moore? Do you remember that this was the same Jamaica Defense Force helicopter that dropped Mr. Arvel Moore's car and body over Spurchie Hill when them come tell we say him car fly over there? And even when his car flew over Spurchie, he still managed to cut out, put something around his neck, and did the dirty. This is the same government that is expecting us to believe that frozen chicken arrive on our shore by drifting. Thank you for being here tonight on the Global Television Group. We and the government are at war. The war between we and the Babylon just can't over.
Oh, thy peace, the God of my salvation, because the mouth of the sinful and wicked is open. Rastafari. Come with I. Rastaman throw one stone, and it pick a bad feeling to all wicked men. That's a people there. Make a man throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Only when man like Marcus Garvey speak, wicked men would I hear. Hear not hear. Instead of that, they only sit aside and rob and cheat, and not press the poor. Make up.
Hold on, the Prime Minister. You find the paper them yet, sir? You know the paper them with the Integrity Commission say you have to provide them by the 30th of next month. Remember me tell you in a Prime Minister, I had like a time palm my hand and we come run off the rat them. Draw out the paper them find it in the corner where they end there. Dust them off because Miss Ellis want them, you know, Prime Minister. Miss Ellis want them, and given again, Prime Minister, that a whole heap of paper, you have to go on the whole heap of desk, go so come remember the phone and paper them normally under desk. You know, remember the SSL reporter Nigel Clark? The paper they did under desk, and Nigel have to go up on his knee, go search, dust, and all about to find it for here. Where it said, because he never even sees it come there. Remember me say, me have time, Prime Minister. Me will help you. For search, that's, miss the deadline. That's what I'm worried about, Prime Minister. The deadline. The deadline, Prime Minister. With all the 140 different ministry, agencies and department that operate out of your back pocket, Prime Minister. One day hold in your pocket. Because remember saying down a local government, rat pass through, rat destroy receipt, and then hurricane come and say, backside. We can't make rat alone mash up the thing them. Me have to get my own set of mashing up half a receipt too. And Gilbert said, look at Beryl said, look here no. Just take up with the rat piss pan and left. Because that's what they told Miss Ellis. So we're at no piss pan and chew up. Hurricane take it. So, me know you're gonna need help, Prime Minister. And I am telling you, I'm willing to assist you. Because I want Miss Ellis get the paper them, you know. Because when Prime Minister, Miss Ellis get the paper them, it will be a hullabaloo. The more and more you see the articles popping up in the Gleaner from the ongoing trial of Mario Dean, you realize how brutal and cold-blooded was the attack on Mario Dean by Barnett Street Police Station. Brutal, merciless, inhumane. This government, this security service in our country, under whichever government they operate. I wonder whether they play against security proceedings at security threat hold proceedings at St. James Parish Court. Bomb threat. I wonder if Prime Minister, the 321 petrol bombs, pipe bombs, Prime Minister. Horace Chang, the 300 and odd pipe bombs. You know, I'm so all over the place mentally when it comes to the upcoming election and where the government may take us. It is a real worry, and I'm really hoping, as I appeal to the Prime Minister this morning, that the Prime Minister should take leadership and spare the country from going into an anarchic behavior. And this is why, Prime Minister, I'm asking you to temper down your language. Because what I noticed, Prime Minister, it's languages from leading Jamaica Labour Party members or the source of some of the attack on social media that journalists like I and others would face from JLP supporters. You know, like you come out and tell we how we bad mind. These are the things we hear from them every day, Prime Minister. I mean, if you could tell us SYM, Prime Minister, I am in no doubt, nor would I be shocked to hear it come out of a ghetto boy's mouth. Prime Minister, you're too thief. You're too lie. You're a criminal, Prime Minister. You have outstayed your welcome. Call the election Jankro and hurry up and go on. Because only then you will see how fed up the nation is or are with you and how they were waiting, Jankro, for the opportunity to get rid of you. Time up, Prime Minister. Thank you, and good night from Global TV.
Oh, like this. God of my salvation. Because the mouth of the sinful and wicked is open. Rastafari. Come with I. Rastaman throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Not a people there. Make man throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Only when man like Marcus Garvey speak, wicked men would I hear. Hear now hear. Instead of that, they only sit aside and rub and cheat, and not press the floor. Make God what I seen him. Make him a throw and stone, and they bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Oh, what a plan! Make him a throw and stone, and they bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. My favorite part, if Rasta make a progressive move, wicked men are red. How they want to see the day them can sell out Rasta and sell it out. I sell out Babylon. They give man throw and stone, and they bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. They give man throw and stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. If Rasta make a progressive move, wicked men are red. How they want to see the dead can sell out Rasta and sell out. I sell out Babylon. Yes, stop on the Friday. You must throw and stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Oh, what a black thing. You must throw and stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. You have eyes to see, let him see. You have ears to hear, let them hear. What a prophet must say. President Mandela was in prison for 20 odd years. And he leave from the prison and take the seat of the president. Stone one. Big him and throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Oh, what a plan! Big him and throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Rastaman throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men.
Whoa, yo. We need help, Jesus. Jamaica need help. Shift the parliament. Shift the election. Shift everything. Remove them out there. Take out the cockroach. Take out the thief. Take out the criminal them. Take out the thief them. Take out the murderer them. Take out the gang leader them. Out of parliament. Take them out. From Portland, take them out. I hear Portland. Me I go to Portland. Why me I travel to Portland? Take out somebody, man or woman.
Diane, Wagwan. Thanks, everybody. Thank you all very much for being here tonight. Make sure you are following us and subscribing to whatever platform you're watching from. So when we go live, you get your notification. Join us back right here tomorrow morning for your At a Glance program at 7 a.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. afternoon time in the United Kingdom. Thank you, good night, and good luck from Global TV.
If you don't like missing out on the latest shows but still enjoy classic hits, then Global TV Group 358 is your perfect match. Global TV Group 358 isn't just another channel, it's your ultimate TV experience. From breaking news to binge-worthy dramas and timeless classics, we've got it all. Our unique blend of original content and global favorites means there's something for everyone. And guess what? With GTVG's seamless streaming, you can watch anywhere, anytime. Plus, our interactive features let you be part of the action. So, whether you're a seasoned binge watcher or a casual viewer, Global TV Group 358 is here to keep you entertained day and night. Don't just watch TV, experience it with Global TV Group 358. Subscribe now and never miss a moment.